Hello and welcome. You're watching India First. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Pakistani national Seema Haider is in the eye of a storm on both sides of the border. In India, she was questioned extensively by agencies and, of course, sent back to her lover Sachin's home for now. Let me get you this exclusive report. India Today has travelled to a small village some 60 kilometers from Jacobabad in Karachi in Pakistan. Seema Haider's family was not aware that she had left Pakistan permanently and had come to India via Kathmandu. India Today spoke to Seema Haider's father-in-law and people in her village. Now, Seema's father-in-law, that's Ghulam Haider's father, he says he was shocked to hear that she'd left the country with his grandchildren. He says he was informed about it by his son Ghulam Haider, who's in Saudi Arabia. He went all the way to her house in the city to cross-check. He now knows that she has left Pakistan and Islam and wants to get married to Sachin Meena and live permanently in India. However, Seema's family in Pakistan insist even if she wants to live in India, the 4 children must be sent back to Pakistan and be brought up in the Pakistani way, brought up as Muslims in Pakistan, because they're also Ghulam Haider's children. India Today is on ground zero in Pakistan and we bring you this exclusive report.
Lal Khan Jakhani village, the native village of Ghulam Haider, husband of Seema Haider. We have tried and requested the family members of Ghulam Haider to speak and explain what had happened, why Seema has eloped, why Seema has illegally left Pakistan to India. But no one is ready and willing to speak to us. But thanks to the father-in-law of Seema Haider, who want to explain and say something, a few words to the world that what has happened to his family. अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम।
सीमा हैदर जो है वो आपकी क्या लगती है?
उम्र नू है।
आपकी बहू है?
हाँ, बहू है, बहू है।
अच्छा, सीमा इंडिया में है, वो आपके बेटे ने आपको बताया?
हाँ, बेटे ने बताया। वो इंडिया क्या में मैंने उनसे नहीं सुना।
कराची क्यों चली गई?
नहीं, बस इसका अब्बू भी उधर था, सीमा का अब्बू भी उधर था, चाचा एक फौजी था वो भी उधर था, इसका भाई फौजी है वो भी उधर था कराची में। इस वजह उसका बहन भी सीमा का कराची में था।
सीमा यहीं रहती थी कराची में, तो उसके बाद सीमा यहाँ से टिकट लेकर पता नहीं कैसे दुबई चला गया, दुबई से नेपाल फिर भारत जाकर पहुंची।
तो आप कैसे जानते थे कि ये वही सीमा है जो गुलाम हैदर से जिसकी शादी हुई थी?
जी, गुलाम हैदर कभी कभी यहाँ पर आता था, उसके मोबाइल में तस्वीर हुआ करती थी।
और सीमा हैदर जब शादी करके आई उसके बाद कितनी दफा यहाँ पे आई थी?
यहाँ पर 2-3 दफा आई।
Seema Haider, that Pakistani woman who entered India illegally to live with her lover Sachin Meena in Greater Noida, remains on the radar of the intelligence agencies. She was questioned for over 36 hours, over 2 days. There is still police presence outside Sachin Meena's residence in Greater Noida, where she is currently living. She, of course, insists she does not want to go back to Pakistan. In quite a dramatic way, she actually said, Doli Hindustan aayi, Arthi Pakistan jayegi, which means she's come to India as a bride, only her mortal remains should go back to Pakistan.
Seema Haider and Sachin Meena, the Pakistani woman and her Indian lover, are back at their residence in Greater Noida. They returned home on Friday after 36 hours of grilling by the UP anti-terrorism squad.
एटीएस की जांच के शुरू होने के बाद से ही सीमा और सचिन गायब हो गए थे। कहां रखा गया था नहीं पता, उन्हें शायद पुलिस ने सेफ हाउस में रखा था। लेकिन अब जैसे ही सीमा और सचिन मीडिया के सामने आए हैं, अपनी तमाम बातें उन्होंने रखनी शुरू कर दी हैं।
Seema Haider is on the intelligence agency's radar over her possible connections with the Pakistan Army and intelligence agency Inter-Services Intelligence. Heavy security is deployed outside the couple's residence.
एटीएस की जांच के बाद सीमा और सचिन अपने घर पर वापस आ गए हैं, लेकिन अभी भी पुलिस का सुरक्षा घेरा उनके चारों तरफ है। गली के बाहर और उनके घर के अंदर भी बड़ी संख्या में पुलिस लगातार बनी हुई है।
Seema has started getting many visitors at home as the story of a Pakistani woman taking her 4 children to live with her Indian lover spreads.
जासूस नहीं है और हमारे देश को कोई खतरा नहीं है तो बहुत प्यार से रहना चाहिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। प्यार तो अंधा होता है, बॉर्डर ही क्या कोई भी सीमा हो सब पार हो जाती है।
Seema's family in Pakistan has appealed to her to return, but she is unfazed. Seema crossed over to India from Nepal in May to be with her Indian lover. She claims to have met while playing the online battlefield game PUBG. India today is tracking the couple's trail in Nepal. A bus driver in Pokhara has claimed Seema faked her name while booking bus tickets from Nepal to India. Seema and Sachin have denied the allegations.
कुछ लोग जासूस भी कह रहे हैं, इसके बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे?
जो भी सच है सामने आ जाएगा, आप चिंता मत करो। अगर मैं गलत हूँ तो मैं सजा भुगतने को भी यही हूँ।
Seema's lawyer has sent a plea to President Draupadi Murmu seeking Indian citizenship for the Pakistani woman. Seema is citing her marriage with Sachin Meena to ask for citizenship. Bureau Report, India Today.
The District and Sessions Court in Varanasi has directed the Archaeological Survey of India to conduct a scientific survey of the Gyanvapi Mosque premises located right next to the Kashi Vishwanath temple in the city. This order was passed in the court of Judge A.K. Vishwesh, which upheld the petition of a group of Hindus seeking a survey to determine if the Mughal-era mosque was actually built at a site of an earlier temple. India Today's Kumar Abhishek is on ground zero. He's filed this report. Celebrations by petitioners outside the District and Session Court, Varanasi. The court allowed the Archaeological Survey of India to conduct a scientific survey at the Gyanvapi Mosque complex, excluding the Wuzukhana area sealed by an earlier order. The court has directed the ASI to submit its report by the 4th of August.
The Honorable District Court Varanasi has allowed the ASI survey in the premises in question in settlement plot number 9130. Our application, which is application number 327 GA, that application has been allowed and the court has directed the ASI to conduct the survey. This is a speculation that within 3 to 6 months this exercise can be completed.
A videographic survey of the Gyanvapi complex had been carried out earlier by an advocates commission and its findings submitted in court. However, the earlier videography survey was not complete as some areas could not be accessed, claimed the petitioners.
बिना सर्वे के आप ये क्लियर नहीं हो पाएंगे, उस स्टेटस को समझ नहीं पाएंगे या डिफाइन नहीं कर पाएंगे कि मंदिर है कि मस्जिद है। केवल आपके नमाज पढ़ने से और उस पे उस मंदिर पर के अवशेषों पर गुंबज खड़ा कर देने से वो मस्जिद नहीं होता है।
The Hindu side has claimed there was a brick wall that appears to have been constructed relatively recently to hide what they insist could well be the Garbhagriha or sanctum sanctorum of the temple. The Hindu side insists a temple predates the mosque. The scientific survey by the ASI is expected to put facts out in public domain. The Hindu side has described the verdict as landmark. The petition was filed in May this year by 5 women who in an earlier plea had sought permission to pray at the Sringar Gauri Sthal inside the shrine complex. A structure claimed to be a shivling on one side and the fountain by the other was found at the Wuzukhana in the mosque premises.
हमारा विरोध सिर्फ इतना ही है कि इस पर एक आर्डर पहले से आ चुका है। वो आर्डर हाई कोर्ट में पेंडिंग है, जिसकी पूरी सुनवाई हो चुकी है। उस सुनवाई के पश्चात ही उसका आर्डर आने के बाद ही कोई फर्दर आर्डर यहाँ से पारित किया जाए। और जो यहाँ पहले आ चुका है कमीशन की रिपोर्ट उस रिपोर्ट का डिस्पोजल कर दिया जाए और इसको एविडेंस ले लिया जाए। एविडेंस लेने के बाद अगर एविडेंस में कहीं कोई चीजें ऐसी आती हैं उसके बाद इस प्रक्रिया को देखा जाएगा।
The Muslim side has been objecting to the ASI survey of the mosque, saying it could damage the complex. The Varanasi court heard both sides on the 14th of July and had reserved its order.
ये तो बहुत ही बड़ा मिल्क पत्थर साबित होगा आज का फैसला, क्योंकि इस फैसले के बाद ही सर्वे होगा और जो सर्वे होगा उससे आश्चर्यजनक रूप से सबके सामने आएगा। ये साबित कर देगा कि हम लोग का शिवलिंग है और वो पूरा जो परिसर है ज्ञानवापी वो पूरा मंदिर है।
The ASI is to conduct its scientific survey and submit its report by the 4th of August. With Kumar Abhishek in Varanasi, Bureau Report, India Today. So in this Kashi Vishwanath Gyanvapi case, the Hindu side is claiming major victory. They insist this verdict today will be a milestone. But what does this actually mean in real terms on ground? Advocate Vishnu Jain is the petitioner of the Hindu side. He joins me on India First. Vishnu Jain, welcome on India Today. I want to understand from you, sir, what does this survey actually mean? How does this get translated into action on ground? And why was a survey by the Archaeological Survey of India actually required?
See, the bone of contention in the trial court and before the trial court is this, that whether the structure which is sitting at the site in question, whether this was constructed by Aurangzeb or it is existing prior to Aurangzeb. And there are many areas in this entire structure which are sealed by artificial walls. So those artificial walls, what is behind those artificial walls has to be investigated. The central dome and beneath the central domes, the Hindu Mandir Shikhar has to be investigated. The western wall has to be investigated. The ground which is behind the western wall, that has to be investigated. The pillars have to be investigated. So all these are the scope and jurisdictions of the ASI, which will conduct this survey. And ASI is an expert body and the premium agency of this country. They will conduct this survey and submit a report before the Honorable.
Fair enough. What's your contention? You know, you are saying that artificial walls were constructed. Where were these artificial walls constructed? And do you mean that these walls were constructed after the temple, if there was a temple, after that was demolished or a mosque constructed? Bring us details. What's behind these artificial walls? Because even in the past, there has been a survey, an advocate survey. What did that reveal?
See, that the scope of the advocate survey which was conducted earlier was very limited. We have to just get the spot the situation before the Honorable Court. But the situation of this survey will be different, because if there is something behind these artificial walls, that can be ascertained by way of modern techniques, by way of ground penetration radar, excavation and various other methods. So this is all speculation. When the ASI will visit the spot, we will come to know that there are how many walls which are artificial. Okay. Walls by which the truth is being sealed. And after all these things, when the report of the ASI will be before court, then I'll be in a better position to explain it. But as of now, ASI survey will be conducted and rest everything is speculation.
Okay. Okay. So what you're saying is that there is something behind those artificial walls that were constructed later, and you are saying it's only after the ASI survey will the truth emerge. But is there a time frame for this entire process? The report has to be submitted in court by the 4th of August. If we were to compare this to what happened at the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi site, there the ASI survey took quite some time.
See, in Ram Mandir case, you cannot equate the SI survey of Ram Mandir case with this survey, because there the area was very, a very large area was involved in Ram Mandir case for conducting the SI survey. Here the area is pretty less, and therefore whether what are the trenches, where the trenches will be there, whether the GPR survey will be there, all these things are speculations. So I would not like to dwell into speculations. Let first ASI start their survey, and then I will keep you giving updates as to how the survey is proceeding.
Fair enough, Advocate Vishnu Jain, for joining me here on India First. Many thanks. And let me now get you a good news story about Indian Air Force and for Indian aviation. Indian Air Force crew will carry out an acceptance trial of India's first C295 transport aircraft at the Airbus Defence and Space Facility in southern Spain in early September before taking delivery of the aircraft. The first of the 16 C295 aircraft will be delivered to the Indian Air Force by Airbus in a flyaway condition from Spain. So 16 of these aircraft come in a flyaway condition. The remaining 40 aircraft are to be built in India, and work on domestic production is already in full swing, a report said, citing officials. So the first of these C295 transport aircraft that's completed its maiden flight in May. The second one is in the final assembly stage at Airbus's facility in Spain and will be delivered to the Indian Air Force in May 2024. India Today's Shiv Arur was in Spain at the Airbus facility, and he gets us this report.
We're here in Sevilla in Spain at an Airbus assembly facility to see something that Indian journalists are seeing for the first time. That is the first C295 aircraft for the Indian Air Force. This aircraft is the first one that's been built by Airbus, a part of 16 such aircraft that are going to be built at this sprawling facility and delivered very soon. This particular aircraft is going to be delivered in just the next few weeks to the Indian Air Force, after which 15 more such aircraft will be built at this precise facility in Sevilla in Spain for delivery to the Indian Air Force. So I'm walking around the aircraft. It's a first look at C295 number 1 for the Indian Air Force. It's going to be fulfilling a long-standing need that's been felt by the Indian Air Force for over a decade. It was a requirement to replace the old vintage British HS-748 Avro aircraft. I'm walking around the first C295 now under the tail area of this aircraft. The important thing about the C295, remember, isn't the fact that the first 16 are going to be built here in Spain. And here on India Today, we've gotten first access to the aircraft also because something very important is taking place back in India. 16 of these aircraft are going to be built here in Spain, but the other 40, as many of you will know if you've been watching India Today and my show, is that the other 40 are going to be built in Vadodara at a Tata facility. These aircraft will have their technology transferred by Airbus to their partner Tata, and then Tata becomes the first Indian private sector company to build military aircraft for the Indian Armed Forces. The Indian Air Force operates aircraft like the AN-32, the Avros of course are being phased out, but these aircraft are going to be fulfilling an extremely crucial need. Remember, the Air Force operates aircraft for many different things, but its transport aircraft are crucial because India is geographically large. We've got all kinds of terrain. This particular aircraft is capable of landing on unprepared surfaces. It's designed for operations of high altitude areas, which is a particularly difficult thing, in aviation because of the thin atmosphere and the various other challenges. And remember, India has important crucial air bases at high altitude, whether it is Leh, whether it is Thois. The world's highest military airfield, which is Daulat Beg Oldi, is also in India, and the aircraft of this kind has been proven to be able to operate from such forbidding locations. Now, 56 aircraft of this kind will be built for the Indian Air Force. That number might go up because the Indian Air Force, apart from replacing its old Avros, also has to replace over 100 AN-32 aircraft. And AN-32s, remember, are of Ukrainian origin. Great aircraft, they're workhorses of the Indian Air Force, but they are also aging and will need to be replaced by new generation transport aircraft of the kind that the C295 is. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen, but with an Indian factory churning out these aircraft between now and 2031, it stands to reason that this very same aircraft should actually replace the AN-32. Apart from the Indian Air Force's own requirement, this is a very versatile aircraft in the sense it's not just a transport aircraft. Look at it as a bit of a Swiss Army knife. It depends on what you put into it. You can sling on a maritime radar, it becomes a maritime patrol aircraft, very much like what the Indian Navy and the Indian Coast Guard are looking at. About 15 aircraft in total is what they're looking at. It can be used for land surveillance if you put on the right kind of sensor. The Border Security Force is looking for that kind of capability. If you add passenger seats, you can convert it into a short-haul regional airliner. India needs many hundreds of those kind of things. If you add anti-submarine sensors and a torpedo capability, it can become an anti-submarine aircraft. If you put a radar on its back, it can become an airborne early warning platform. So what I mean is, it's very modular. It depends on what you want to do with the aircraft, and it can be used for all these different kinds of purposes. So if you have a production line for the C295 in India, it becomes something very useful for India's different and very disparate needs across different terrains. So it's historic in all kinds of ways, because the C295 not only fulfills all these needs, but gives India an aircraft manufacturing capability in the private sector which has never been there. Airbus has had a long relationship with India, but this is for the first time that such an ambitious and landmark project is being executed. 56 of these aircraft being built 100%, almost 100% in India by the end of the entire program. In Sevilla, Spain, this is Shiv Arur for India Today.
Well, that is all we have time for on this special edition of India First. Many thanks for watching. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us and have a lovely weekend.